Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Raw review of December 14th, 2015 review. I have to say, this episode was actually quite good. I was very, very impressed. There was only one portion of the show I did not enjoy, and that was the second hour of Raw, except for the Extreme Rules match. Otherwise, I was pretty entertained for the first time in a long time. So apparently, they must have been a week behind schedule in making changes to Monday Night Raw, because this Raw was pretty outstanding. Um, we started off the show with Stephanie McMahon coming out. She was pretty pissed off at what Roman Reigns did to Triple H. In which case, we had Roman Reigns come down and say, "Hey, you know what? Your family's a disgrace if I'm a disgrace," and so forth, and blah blah blah. And he's like, "Okay, would you get to the point already and just fire me and get it over with?" So they go ahead, they do the spiel and blah 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 and so forth. And she says Vince McMahon's coming to the Raw show and we're gonna have him settle it, and Triple H doesn't want you fired or anything like that or what have you, and she's like, "I want you fired." Segment was pretty good. The promo was pretty well done. Pretty standard, nothing, extraordinary, but it was good. Didn't feel so scripted either. It felt a little bit more realistic. So I was actually pretty impressed by that. So that was a nice sign. Then we moved on to Dean Ambrose facing Dolph Ziggler. This match was a no contest. Kevin Owens came down to the ring and beat the shit out of both of them and pretty much kicked Dean Ambrose's ass and Dolph Ziggler's as well. So they're kind of making him go back to his old self. He's not like making a fool of himself in a way, and he's being an ass kicker again. So that I can really appreciate and like. He's not, playing bullshit games. He later on was interviewed by one of the people backstage, and she asked him, "Why did he do that? And can you explain this?" And he says, "I don't have to explain nothing to you or anybody else. I'm Kevin Owens, and I'm gonna kick ass and take some names and what have you." That kind of attitude. I don't remember word for word what he said, but it was a very good segment. I didn't mind that one either. Then we go on to after that we move on to the next segment, which they've never done this, back-to-back segments backstage, which was kind of interesting. It's something they used to do back in the day. So we get to the Dudley Boys, Tommy Dreamer, and Rhino. We go ahead, they do their spiel on the Wyatt family and how ECW originated from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and how, this match is going to be an Extreme Rules match and so forth, and the segment wasn't bad. I really did not have a lot of problems with these segments. They were actually well put together. A lot of positive things I can say about this show. Only a few were just crap. But I was actually quite happy with it. From there, let me see here. I'm on NoDQ.com. Looking through all the info. Okay, no contest with Kevin Owens and so forth. Then we get Vince McMahon coming out during an R-Truth and Bo Dallas match, which was kind of insulting. I mean, why have the match all together? Is that their way of saying that Bo Dallas and R-Truth don't really matter? If they don't matter, why are they on the show? Doesn't make much sense to me. So we move on, and we get to the Roman Reigns and Vince McMahon segment. This segment was actually pretty interesting as well because you're seeing Vince McMahon, the owner of the company, loving Roman Reigns, but yet on television screen, he's the evil villain trying to stop Roman Reigns from becoming the World Heavyweight Champion, not favoring him as a champion. It's basically looking like a Stone Cold versus Vince McMahon type of scenario, even though Roman Reigns can touch Stone Cold's jockstrap, let alone kiss his ass. But regardless of all that, this segment was actually good as well. You had some vulgar language, which was believable coming from two adults, especially with the the disliking of the two characters. Um, Roman Reigns didn't use potatoes and tater tots as a comparison of someone's size of their balls. He went for the old school version of what Vince McMahon used to call his nutsack, and that's the grapefruits. Later on, calling them shriveled up, I don't remember. He should have said shriveled raisins, but who gives a fuck? Goating him into doing a world title match with Sheamus. Sheamus came out. He was the worst one, though, in the whole segment, though. He kind of brought the segment down a little bit. He really needs to get back to, being an ass-kicking Irishman who doesn't talk like a schmuck. But, I mean, outside of his lines that he did, the rest of that segment was great. He goats Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns goats Vince McMahon into doing the title match after all, even though Sheamus was the original person who brought the idea up, because he felt so confident that he'd win. And I'll explain more what happens in that match if you haven't already seen the show. So we go ahead. Vince McMahon's getting ready to shake his hand, and he kicks him right in the fucking balls. And I mean, literally kicks him in the balls and hurts him. It looks like it really fucking hurt. I mean, he yelped out loud. You could hear him yelping throughout the fucking arena. It seemed that freaking bad, and realistic. So very well. Good job there, put together. I don't know if it was a real kick to the balls or not, but it looked like it. I'll tell you that much. I've gotten kicked in the nuts before, and it definitely looks like that. Definitely tell you that much. So, next up we had Rusev and Del Rio versus Ryback and Jack Swagger. What a pointless fucking match. This is where the portion of the show is going downhill, and this was the second hour. Who gives a fuck? Rusev and Alberto Del Rio win. That was meaningless. Neville and Tyler Breeze, that was meaningless. Complete, utter fucking bullshit here. Neville and Miz got this storyline going on between the two where he's trying to help Neville become the new Daniel Bryan. What the fuck? He didn't help Daniel Bryan do shit. He just was a so-called mentor, which he was horrible at anyway to begin with. And not in a side note here, again, Tyler Breeze loses. This is where I have some complaints. Tyler Breeze was supposed to be set up and was looking strong starting out when he first came into the main roster. And now, all he does is lose. Like, where is the point? And Neville was on a losing streak. You don't put Neville and Tyler Breeze together. They're both on losing streaks. You're trying to help build both of them into something. You don't put them against each other in matches. You put them against somebody else that doesn't mean a crock of shit. A guy that's a jobber. Tyler Breeze and Neville aren't jobbers. They're potential, superstars that could become something. Hell, you could even create a cruiserweight division with these two guys, and you'd have a fucking hell of a show. I mean, you could even have them in main event type quality matches even. I mean, these guys are not waste case talent. They're very good, talented wrestlers that can do some pretty outstanding shit in the middle of the ring. So, for them to go ahead and have this match with these two guys that are just fucking in nowheresville with their career right now, which is on a continuous losing streak because of what they think they should or shouldn't do with them, is completely idiotic. So, personally, I feel that, Neville should have been facing somebody else like not Stardust, that's a little overkill. He should have been, truthfully, Stardust should have been fucking facing, or not Stardust, Neville should have been facing, like, Bo Dallas, and Tyler Breeze should have faced R-Truth again. Nah, R-Truth versus Tyler Breeze would have been good. And then you have Neville and R-Truth one-on-one, since those two matches never really have happened. And both Bo Dallas and R-Truth are jobbers, so they lose on a continuous basis. Instead of giving them the shitty-ass fucking segment where they're competing in a match and then their match is being canceled because of Vince McMahon, it's kind of a shitty thing to do. So personally, I think that was kind of stupid on their part. They could have helped build both of these guys with a win on Monday Night Raw. But what the fuck does it matter? Neville wins the match anyway against Tyler Breeze. And again, Tyler Breeze has another loss. I think that's 5 or 6 in a row. We then go backstage, see Neville and fucking Miz. Miz is like, okay, well, you gotta listen to what I'm saying. I'll help you become a star, and while I'm helping you become a star, you can help me get a role in playing as James Bond. Can you help me out with the accent that you have so it's more authentic than, hello, governor? Or some shit like that. Like, what the fuck was that segment? Give me a freaking break. After that, we had the 4-on-4 Extreme Rules match between the Dudley Boys' Team ECW versus the Wyatt family. And this match was... I was glad they didn't go with the whole 50-50 booking here. This was definitely well worth it. They had the Wyatt family win once again. The match was very entertaining, very old school type Extreme Rules match. A couple of botches here and there, but still it was a decent hardcore match that kept me pretty entertained. So I was very happy with this. Then after that, we had the New Day come out on Monday Night Raw, and for the first time, I am actually going to say something that's going to blow everybody's fucking mind. I felt that this promo was by far the very best promo I've seen by the New Day in a long fucking time. Actually, and ever since they started. They went out, they showed some respect to them, to the Usos and the Lucha Dragons, shook their hands, told them it wasn't just the three of us that made this match great, it was you guys too, us, the New Day, Usos, and the Lucha Dragons that made this match great and escalated and made the tag team division better than it has been in a very long time. And I have to agree with that 100%. They turned, once they left the ring, they went right back to the way they were. But they actually showed some class, consideration to those guys, but at the end of the day, they still went back being themselves, which was being egotistical heels. But regardless, they didn't low blow them, they didn't attack them from behind or anything like that, and they were just gyrating in the middle of the ring, partying, celebrating the fact that they won. The fucking new Usos and the Lucha Dragons came down to the ring and beat the shit out of them, and the fans were booing those four guys instead of cheering, which was shocking. And they did it from behind, too, which was pretty crazy. So this was kind of a unique segment. I don't know if I've ever seen something like this in a while, but I'll tell you what, it was pretty interesting to see this. So I'm very impressed by this. Wasn't expecting this. There was a lot of kind of unexpected situations that happened, but I'll explain later of one situation that kind of seemed obvious, but at the end of the day, I thought maybe they were going to go in the other direction with it, but I'll explain later once I get to it. We then had Brie Bella and Alicia Fox versus Charlotte and Becky Lynch. I didn't even watch this match. Didn't even fucking care. We get back to the event, and we see Sheamus versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight title. Match was, I gotta admit, the match was not the greatest. I mean, it wasn't the best of all time, even for Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has had some decent matches this year, and high-profile matches. This was not one of them, but it was still entertaining in some cases. For instance, the belief that the audience, Philadelphia, from beginning to end, was fucking in it. They weren't booing one moment of this show. They weren't quiet. They weren't doing nothing but enjoying this show non-stop from beginning to end. I could not believe how much they were intrigued by this show. Yet I was actually intrigued myself, so it wasn't surprising. But this was a fucking entertaining. It had an entertaining ending. The audience was in it. They made you think that Roman Reigns was gonna lose. They had the fucking douchebag League of Doucheballs come down to the ring and try to help Sheamus win the match once again. But to no avail, Vince McMahon eats a Superman punch, and Roman Reigns spears Sheamus and avoids the Brogue Kick and gets the 1-2-3. And Roman Reigns is now our new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now, back things up a little bit. Before the match even started, which was a big mistake, I believed, on their part, and they shouldn't have done this, because this kind of left a clue and belief that Roman Reigns was going to win the title going into the match before they even announced the match to even begin. They showed Roman Reigns in a graphic that he's going to be with Jonathan Coachman for Tuesday night on ESPN about Monday Night Raw. Why the fuck would you show that? Really, like, what the fuck are you thinking? I mean, that screws everything up. I mean, you can't possibly believe Roman Reigns was going to lose the match now at this point and get fired. That wouldn't make any sense. What? Then he goes on to ESPN and says, "Hey, Jonathan, I'm fired. You got a job for me on ESPN?" Some shit. I mean, some of the dialogue, though, by the commentators, though, is still just fucking dumb as shit. Half of the shit is just a bunch of noise in the background while I'm trying to watch the damn show. I can't stomach the fucking broadcast team. I mean, JBL and Michael Cole, when they were on SmackDown back in the day, they were a very good team, commentary team. Now they are just fucking shit, and Brian Saxton sometimes sounds pretty okay. I mean, he sounds, natural and everything else, but still, at times, he sounds just as dumb as those two do. So, I mean, I just don't understand any of this. This is just fucking idiotic. And very fucking retarded altogether. So I'm not impressed by this commentary team. I wish they'd change it at some point. Or try doing something unique, like make them sound natural instead of sounding like they're reading off of a script or being force-fed lines into the headset or something. I mean, come on. I mean, when you heard JR and Jerry the King Lawler do their announcing together, they didn't sound like they were fucking doing a script or robotic. They sounded like people. Even back in the day, again, like I said, even with Michael Cole, he sounded more natural. Now he sounds like a complete fucking jackass. So, but personally, overall, with the few, you know, rants and raves I had about the show, this show to me was actually pretty fucking good. I liked it. I thought it was entertaining. Very, it didn't feel so much of an insult to my intelligence. The New Day, they didn't act like a bunch of buffoons throughout the entire segment. They goofed off at the end of it, which I thought was great, and I really appreciated it. And I think they should do more segments like that. Be cocky, but at the same time not act so fucking retarded and scripted. I don't think that's going to continue, though. I think that was just a one-time only thing for them to sound like they were being serious for just a moment. No pun intended for Lance Storm with that line. But, no, I mean, I was very impressed by this show. The segments were very entertaining. They felt more real. They didn't feel robotic. And it didn't feel so scripted, so much of a scripted show. It felt like a legit live event that I was watching instead of some Mickey Mouse retarded show. So I really appreciate WWE for doing that. As me, for a fan of WWE, and for all the people that love professional wrestling. They did a great job. I thank them very much. Continue to do that. No, you don't have to have a WWE title match every fucking week. That would be retarded. But give us some realism to the show. Not some Mickey Mouse blowhard, something a baby could write himself or something if he knew how to write. I mean, a kindergartner, don't make storylines where a kindergartner can outdo you in a storyline writing bid. I mean, this was good. This was entertaining. And, my God, I had probably the most fun in a long while watching a Monday Night Raw episode. And for God's sakes, the last time there was an actual title change for a WWE World Heavyweight title on a Monday Night Raw was in 2011 when CM Punk supposedly left the company and then came back, and John Cena won the title the same night Rey Mysterio won the vacated championship. So, 4 years of no championship change on Monday Night Raw, which actually kind of felt a lot longer than 4 years, to be perfectly honest with you guys. But, regardless of all that, great show, good effort, really appreciated it. Do I wish that Roman Reigns was a heel instead of a face? Absolutely. But still, regardless, I'm happy now that they got Roman Reigns as champion. Now let's move on and find a good heel challenger for him. I think it should be Brock Lesnar. I think he should beat his fucking ass and take the title. And once again, he has to work to become the champion. And that's it. And maybe turn heel, possibly. But anyway, at this time, you know what to do. Leave those comments and opinions down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Monday Night Raw. It might be different from mine. Maybe people still find that the episodes absolutely suck dick. But, hey, it's just my opinion, as well as everyone else has their own. And you're more than welcome to voice your opinion right here on this video. Anyway, hit that subscribe button. Lay it to smacketh down on that subscribe button. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching. And have a great night, guys. Bye.